This is Rob Chappell, and it's 365 Amplified for Friday, June 27th. The team is still scattered to the winds, or rather scattered to the winds again, as it is summertime and folks are doing different things and different projects and working on different stories. In a moment, we'll get to our interview with Shakia Curtis, the owner of the new Taylor Nicole Wine and Cupcake Bar at the Black Business Hub, with lots of grand opening activities going on this weekend. But first, a couple things I want to mention. The 6th annual list of Wisconsin's most influential Asian American leaders is just wrapping up today, Friday, and there are 20 of them, and they are a wide range of folks: elected officials, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, founders, and educators. And we've published a cohort, a little group of them every day this week. And we'll also have the entire list out at madison365.org on Saturday morning. So I commend that to you. Some of those names you may have heard before, probably most of them you haven't. The interesting thing about the Asian list in particular, the Asian list and the Native American list both are really statewide. Our black list, or list of black leaders and list of Latino leaders, tends to get a little bit concentrated in Madison and Milwaukee. But the Asian American communities, especially the Hmong community, is really spread out across the state and in Green Bay and in northeast Wisconsin, and as well as Madison and Milwaukee. And the same can be said about the indigenous folks who are obviously really rooted, up north as well as in the urban centers. So anyway, it's really interesting to catch, to get to know folks from around the state, and to take a look at that. And then also, and look at the previous lists, which are all at madison365.org/most influential. And if there's anybody in your network who should be on this list and hasn't been yet, shoot us an email, news@madison365.org. The other big thing to mention is that the 8th annual 365 Leadership Summit now has a date. It's going to be Monday, November 3rd at Madison Concourse Hotel in downtown Madison. It's been there since we came back from COVID, pretty much every year since 2022. Is that right? Or 23? Must have been 23. And it's a fantastic event. It's we call it the state's premier professional development, networking, and community building event. It's usually about 700 people, about 100 of whom are on various panels and leading various discussions on a number of topics, everything from, men's mental health to entrepreneurship to journalism to youth development to education, equity in the classroom, just a wide range of things, and really tapping into the wisdom specifically of our most influential. This event grows directly out of those most influential lists. You might have heard me tell this story before, but back in 2019, we had just no, not 2019. I'm sorry. Earlier than that, 2017. 2017. Wow. We had just published our 2nd annual list of most influential black leaders in Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee Bucks called and wanted us to invite everybody on that list to their Martin Luther King Day matinee game. And of course, this is 3 weeks before the game. This is like late December. And they called us, and we were like, sure, okay. Yeah, we can throw that together really quick. And we did, and it was an ice storm. And but we still had about 100 people show up. And the Bucks did this really nice thing for us. They had a lunch for us, and the Peter Fagan, the president, and Craig Robinson, the vice president at that point, play development, came over and addressed the crowd, and it was really, really electric energy. And a lot of the people in the room didn't know each other, which makes sense. right? But you kind of, it's one of those dumb things that doesn't occur to you until it does. That, the state's most prominent black leaders, in many cases, didn't know each other, had never crossed paths. So getting them together it was more than the sum of its parts, right? It was like 40 or so of the most influential people and then their family and friends. And it was something that you could not get anywhere else. And the energy was just really electric. And we thought, we have to do this more. We have to recreate this energy. And that is what led then to us conceiving of the first ever, it was the Wisconsin Leadership Summit in 2018. And now it's been sort of rebranded, expanded into the 365 Leadership Summit. And every year it's the same thing. It's the same homecoming kind of feel, right? And it's unlike any other event. It's just a really great time. The general registration is $199 for the day. If you work for a nonprofit or a government agency, it's $179. And then if you're a student, it's $99. And if you were on a list recently, you might hear from us. We might try to put you on a panel. In any case, we don't have all the panels set yet, but we have the tentative schedule, and that's at 365leadershipsummit.org, 365leadershipsummit.org. We'll put a link to that in the show notes, and you can get all registered right now. Finally, before we get to our interview, just a sports news note. Con Knipple from Wisconsin Lutheran High School and then Duke University is the highest ever draft pick in the NBA of any native Wisconsinite ever. He went 4th the other night to Charlotte Hornets. That distinction was previously held by Devin Harris, a Milwaukee native who played for the Badgers, was drafted 5th overall back in 2004. A couple other people with ties to Wisconsin that went in the draft. John Tonje, the 6th-year senior, played for the University of Wisconsin this past season, went 53rd, I think, in the second round to the Utah Jazz. And Cam Jones from Marquette was also drafted as well. All right, that's enough of my voice chit-chatting with you. Let's now go to my chat with Shakia Curtis. And we're back, and we're down on Madison South Side at the Black Business Hub with Shakia Curtis.
Yes.
I said that wrong, didn't I?
No, you said it right. It's Shakia.
Is it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I was sure it was Shakai, but
no,
it's
Shakia.
All right, Shakia Curtis. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, I'm excited.
The reason we're talking to you today is the weekend of the 27th.
Yes.
So tonight, as folks are listening to this, and this whole weekend,
yes,
you're having the grand opening of
grand
what?
Opening. 3 days of a grand opening for Taylor Nicole Wine and Cupcakes. You pick two great things to put together. Yes, yeah.
Like wine and cupcakes is like perfect.
My favorite
thing.
I mean, like wine and cupcakes. Who's not happy about that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's right here in the first floor. You can't miss it if you walk into the Black Business Hub.
Yes.
Tell us about kind of your origin story. I know you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yes, I do. Origin story of Taylor Nicole or
of you, first of all,
me.
And then we'll do the origin story of Taylor Nicole.
Oh, let's try to see I can shorten this. Born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Was a teen mom, right, to a single mom. And so early on, I had to learn how to make a lot of things happen.
Sure.
All at once. And so entrepreneurship became something that I think was necessary. Like I didn't choose it. It chose me. So outside of that, I had the ability and the privilege to attend college. So first generation everything.
Oh, wow.
So with that, having to be what we call quote unquote hustler, right? I despise that word, but that's what I had to figure out. Just being a teen mom, going to college showed me the business side of things, the people side of things, right?
Okay.
So coming out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, inner city, I didn't know a lot. And then leaving Wisconsin, I went to school, Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. It opened my mind and exposed me right? To not just hustle, but like, how do you build? How do you create? How do you actually utilize relationships? And so that I say that's where life began for me. And so got into the corporate space and did quite a few things. Ended up at Starbucks Corporation for a very long time, and they taught me people. So one thing I got to walk away from with Starbucks Corporation was people and business development. And Howard Schultz, probably one of the greatest businessmen. The framework of Starbucks was built off of one cup, one coffee, one cup, one neighborhood, one person at a time. Meaning, regardless of who you are, everyone's the same over a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right. And I always wanted to model that. And so it'll come, full circle with Taylor Nicole. But I fell in love with that model of, if you can meet a person, know a person, it doesn't matter the background, right? It's how can we build together? So after Starbucks, COVID happened. Ended up coming back home. Never thought I would be back in Wisconsin. Never. Right? And I'm a Midwest girl. And I was like, I'm out of Wisconsin. I got to live East Coast, West Coast. I got to travel the world. And I was like, never again. COVID happened. I was like, surprise. So I ended up coming back home. I got an opportunity with Starbucks in Illinois. And it brought me home. COVID. My mom was still in Milwaukee at the time. And I seen that it was something different. And so Madison's going to come soon. But I seen Milwaukee was birthing, it was growing, it was very different. And so if you're born in the inner city of Milwaukee, you only know that. So I didn't get to know the downtown. I didn't get to know the surrounding areas. I didn't get to know the Madison. But coming back in the space that I got to see what was happening in Wisconsin and realize there was a lot of opportunity. So just kind of to push forward, end up meeting Abby from Generator, and I left Starbucks and ended up going to Generator. Generator took me across Wisconsin. And so Madison became like a second home because of a lot of the projects that were happening, a lot of the things that were happening.
And that's the Generators, for folks who don't know. It's
Startup Accelerating.
Small business accelerator kind of thing.
It's entrepreneurship, VC capitals, all of that great stuff. So I fell into this space of only knowing entrepreneurship, and then my mind got open to startup and funding and building, right? A very big total game. But I got to meet Madison, Wisconsin. In that, I got to meet people like Dr. Rubin at the Black Business Hub. Urban League became like a big supporter of the things that we were doing, and just a lot UW-Madison. And so I got to see the landscape. So in that time, kind of lived in Madison, back and forth. I was in Milwaukee every weekend. I needed a little more action. But that was how I met Madison, Wisconsin. That was how I got incorporated into all the things happening. So a few years later, ended up going to MKE Tech Hub. And with that, started working with some of the development happening at the Black Business Hub. And so contracting and working with the systems and programming with Magugu here. I got to see what they were trying to build out. And so sitting in some of those calls, having some of those conversations, I'm like, you guys need to open this, right? And that was how I'm like, you need a wine lounge. You need this, like, right? Like living East Coast, living West Coast. These are places that business people, just professionals attend. And I'm like, this is what is needed in the Black Business Hub. Interesting. And so
what time period is this? Like, how early in the development of the Black Business Hub were you in on it? So this was
maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
So very early on.
Yeah.
Before doors, before development. Again, got to see the vision, got to one of the main contributors as a mentor, brought me in the space. He's from BMO, again, another supporter. And that was how I got to understand what was happening. And so having conversations with the leaders of the Black Business Hub, they're like, you do it. And I'm like, no.
I'm just the idea person.
And it was just really a conversation that started this well, why can't I do it? Right? Why not? So I was like, oh, let's get serious about it. Had a conversation with Ed and Dr. Rubin, and I'm like, hey, this is the vision. What do you think? So it took some convincing. And again, I give it to having supporters that seen work that I've done that was just like, we believe in her. And so that was how the conversations around Taylor Nicole Wine and Cupcakes started. Yeah.
So Wine Lounge was like kind of the original
Wine
thought.
Lounge, right? Again, for me, I'm like, it was more selfish because I'm like, I want to go to a place that's really nice. If I got to work in Madison, I want to be able to come and enjoy myself. And I'm like, if the Black Business Hub is going to have all of these businesses, all of these different organizations, they need somewhere, like they have their coffee in the morning, they have their food at lunch, but where does the professionals come together? And that was kind of the thought of it. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's something that you've seen on the coast.
Yeah, just
basically.
because coast to coast, right? Like you see these places all the time. People are doing business. I know we say on the golf course, but it's in these coming together community spaces that
proximate to workplaces, but not workplaces.
Because on the East Coast, you don't drive. You walk, right? And so when I lived in D.C. and Baltimore, we walked, right? Because it was the traffic. And so we would walk block to block. And there would be a cigar shop. There would be a lounge. There would be a coffee shop in all proximity to where you're at. And I'm like, we got to be, if you want this booming, you want this culture, you want to build, what we need to build.
Right. And something, a concept that was talked about a lot for a little while and it kind of went away because of the pandemic was the whole idea of a third space.
Yeah.
Right, where a place is not home, it's not work,
but it's
a place where you can socialize, you can connect with people, but also get some business done.
And do work, right?
But
make
have
money
it right here, where the offices are.
You got to make sense, right? So it happened. Small conversation led to opportunity. So yeah.
So tell me about Taylor Nicole. Wine and cupcakes, kind of self-explanatory, but
where it came together. So 3 of my favorite things. Taylor Nicole is my daughter, my firstborn. I have 2. Wine and cupcakes are my favorite, but I also wanted to create something unique, right?
Sure.
So Taylor Nicole represents luxury upscale mixed with community, right? So making it where it's accessible to all, but when you come in, this amazing experience. I'm a sweets girl, right? I work out, I go to the gym to eat cupcakes and to be able to enjoy glasses of wine. But I also know
you gotta earn it.
right? You got to earn it. But I also know everyone doesn't like wine. So we have NA, like non-alcoholic options. We have spirits. So very unique tequilas, our cognacs, very unique wine. But when you come in, you're going to get a great experience, right? While enjoying it with your friends, while doing a business meeting, or maybe just working, right?
I'm fascinated when you say it's kind of upscale, elite a little bit. I recall a conversation that I had with somebody, who knows what time it is anymore, but it was pre-pandemic. It was like 2018 or so. And somebody who came here from Chicago and said the biggest difference between Madison and Chicago as far as Black community is concerned is there's not Black wealth in Madison the way there is in Chicago or DC or wherever. So a place like this in a Black space is
and
kind of a bold thing right now.
Right? And very intentional.
So my question to you is, having been kind of around Madison the last few years and seeing this real revitalization of the South Side with this and the center down there.
And I'm learning about the history of it.
Is that changing, or does that have potential to change, or how does that?
It's a lot changing, right? You have a lot of your leaders, right? There's a center of excellence, or the art center, right?
Yep.
What is that?
The Black Excellence and Culture
Black
right down
Excellence,
around the corner.
Right around the corner. You have different projects building around it, and then the Black Business Hub. And so to create culture that's an upscale luxury, affordable luxury, right? Yeah. I think you have to set a standard so that it can continue to be built.
Yeah. And I know the Urban League is also involved in home ownership, which is the first step toward building family wealth, right?
Right.
So that's really cool. That's all integrated and kind of intentional.
Yeah. Again, very intentional. I wanted it the look. I wanted the opportunity. I wanted the accessibility to not only be by the Capitol or to be in the west side of Madison, but to be right on the south side where they are up and coming, where they're growing, where they're trying to put opportunity. Because if you see it, then you know it's available. Right. And it's not far away. And it's in the south side.
And
again, love the west side. There's a lot of great things happening, but this is intentional.
And just having seen, our office used to be right across the parking lot over at the South Madison Partnership.
Really? Okay.
A year and a half, 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And even that time, like, I couldn't find a parking spot.
Yeah.
I never had problem parking before.
Listen, I'm like, when is this parking lot opening? This new parking structure. It's supposed to open next month. And
it's just like a whole different buzz down here, right?
And I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What's the I mean, I'm sure you have like
Yeah.
a plan.
Yeah.
Like, what's your next 3 to 5 years look like?
3 to 5, we want to expand, right? I want to expand before that. I'm hearing the buzz of the new public market coming.
Yep.
So I want to be a part of that.
Okay.
But this will be our stumping grounds. This will be our foundation. But we want to grow. We want to expand. We want to be able to create culture everywhere in Madison and not just on the south side. But what does it look like if you do see culture on the west side, right? And mix that in. And so,
So tell me what you have planned for the weekend.
So 3 days. I put a lot of heart and hard work into it. So Friday, the big day, June 27th, we have MJ. He is a reality TV star for Love and Hip Hop, but he also has an album that just dropped. So he's going to come and sing. We got a live band. We have a DJ. We also have a local artist from Madison, 2 of them actually, that lives in the Madison area. They're going to come and open up for him.
Great.
We're going to have wine and cupcakes. We're going to have tastings, but just entertainment, enjoyment. Come and see what the lounge looks like.
What times?
4 to 8.
4 to 8.
4 to
Friday
8.
Night. Okay.
Friday night, Saturday. We have 8 Midwest artists. So amazing art. So when they come in the lounge, they will see art all over the wall. That's intentional as well. And this for sale. So it'll be interchanging.
Oh, great. Okay.
But it'll be an art gallery.
Awesome.
So art show, you'll hear from the artist. You'll get to see their art. You'll get to purchase their art. And why not have wine and cupcakes mixed with it? Of course, live music, DJ. And so, again, being able to entertain, being able to have fun, network, and then see these amazing artists showcase. And then Sunday, so our signature event will be a brunch every Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Every Sunday, we'll take over the atrium. We're going to do brunch from 11 to 4. So we're partnering with local chefs because we're only doing charcuterie boards on our side. Of course, like the bubblies. We're calling it wine, mimosa, and brunch.
Okay.
So you're going to come out and get your wine mimosas. We're going to do the cupcakes, the charcuterie boards, and then partner with some other business that will provide breakfast or brunch food. And that is Sunday. So Friday is the grand opening, live music, wine and cupcakes. Saturday is the art gallery, art showcase, wine and cupcakes, music. Sunday is our first brunch.
And then the brunches will go forward every Sunday?
11 to 4 every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Right.
We're doing reservations moving forward only, just capacity. We want to make sure we can control the crowd. So that will be reservation moving forward. But yeah. Everyone's welcome. So 4 to 8 Friday and Saturday, 11 to 4 Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
What's been the tell me how I word this question. From being from Milwaukee, coming to Madison, you kind of mentioned that you had to escape Madison on weekends. Before. What have you seen in the couple years you've been working here besides just the obvious buildings going up? What have you seen in terms of growth and change in Madison this past couple years?
I will say I've seen a lot happening with the history of the South Side coming to life. Again, I learned a lot about it since being in the space, and just seeing a lot of younger professionals rise and want to see change and step up. Right. And do some things, seeing a lot of entrepreneurs buzzing, like the new Rasta coffee shop that's in here, right?
Next door to you.
And right next door, and seeing like eateries and markets, right? Like the South Side is really creating this revitalization, right? And it seems like a renaissance. Like it reminds me of a renaissance for like just a new age renaissance, and it's opportunity. Yeah. If you want it. Right. Like opportunity if you want it, and it's out for anybody who's looking to grow. All right. Yeah.
All right, Shakia Curtis, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And best of luck on the weekend.
Come. Oh.
And thanks again to Shakia Curtis for that. And thank you for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon. 365 Amplified is produced and edited by me, Rob Chappell, and is a production of 365 Media Foundation, a nonprofit, local, independent media organization in Madison, Wisconsin. Wherever you're listening to this right now, hit the subscribe or follow button to get new episodes every Friday. And between episodes, get your latest news at madison365.org and follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Threads. Wherever you get your news, we'll be there.